Hey guys, and welcome to Knit. In today's video I'm going to show you how to do what is called the Matress stitch. I use the Matress stitch when it comes to sewing my granny squares together. I have a couple granny square videos up on my channel. I just uploaded one of this specific granny square, and I also have one that I'll link down below for the more traditional granny square and how I change colors and do all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that, go look in the doobly-doo. There's some more information down there. Today I just wanted to show you how I did the Matress stitch. It creates this nice, stretchy, seamless, just way of attaching it, and it's completely clear and it doesn't take away from the pattern at all. So I just wanted to show you how I went about doing that. Usually when I use the Matress stitch, I take my tail and I sew it going like so across, and I go up when I'm attaching it to the blanket, depending. I just use my tail when I use the Matress stitch, but I wanted to be able to show you and have it not just all blur into this weirdness, so I'm going to be using a secondary color, which is this really pretty maroon color, which I'm also using and making another blanket out of this color and this pattern. So I have a darning needle. All you need to sew with the Matress stitch is whatever granny square you have combined with a darning needle or whatever you want to use for sewing. Some people like to use sharper needles, but because I'm a baby and I would stab myself, I like using darning needles because it's just a little bit safer. So I'm going to show how I take those two pieces and put them together. I'm ignoring my ends here. Usually I would start sewing from this end using the tail, but we're just going to forgo that and pretend that the tails have all been sewn in, hemmed in, sewn in, however you want to say it, and I'm going to show you how I take these two sides and I'm going to attach them using the Matress stitch. So the first thing that I do when I do this, and this is not what everybody does, but the way that I attach my ends with my chains is I just go through the very front. This is not the Matress stitch, but this is how I attach. I go through the front here. Let's just ignore the tail, because usually I would be working with my tail and I wouldn't have to deal with some extra pieces there. I'm going to take it and go through the front of the other stitch and pull that together so you can see that I'm going through these two pieces here. And then I'm going to go through again on the other side. And the way that you do the Matress stitch, this is just getting it kind of attached so that I don't have to think about it. So now I've got it essentially attached. You are going to work through the back part of the stitch no matter what you're doing. I've attached it. We're just kind of going with it. This isn't the Matress stitch part. You're going to want to go into the very back and through to the front. So going through, it might be easier to visualize it like this if you have your pieces like so. You're going to go through the back and through into the front. This is the front of the square. You're going to go like that and kind of just pull it. It doesn't need to be super tight. You're going to go through and kind of do the exact same thing but on the opposite side. So in the other square you're going to go through the back and go through the front, to the front, go through the back, and to the front, go through the back, and into the front. And you'll notice that it starts kind of creating this twining here. Back into the front, back into the front, and back into the front, and back into the front. So now that I've done that a couple times, what I wind up doing afterwards is you can take your tail and hold this here, and you can pull it, and it makes it completely unseen. So you can barely even tell when you pull your tail. I do it every like 6 times or so just to make sure that I don't tangle something and mess everything up, because that's a headache. It's not easy to make it a hard thing to do, but look, it is pretty much hidden. Even this opposite color, there's something that's not even remotely the same color, is completely hidden by putting these stitches together. And I love it. But if you need to take it out, you can also easily just kind of pull things out. Right here, because it's not attached, it's unattached now. So I'm just going to show that again. I take my stitches, I kind of make it so that they're both together. You go through the back and into the front, go into the back and into the front, every time going back and forth and back and forth, depending on how tight you want things. If you don't want them super tight, you don't have to pull it tight. But that's what I do, and you can do that all the way down. Back to the front, back to the front, and it creates this kind of crisscross lattice. It's very hard to see it, especially if you're using the same color that's on your outer strand. It's practically invisible. The only reason why you can see it now, even a little bit, is the fact that it's a completely opposite color. So you can see where it kind of joins right along there. It's super easy. I love this, and it's a really nice way to add a nice touch when you're adding your granny squares. And what's really funny is apparently this is how my mother did it, but I learned how to do it the wrong way, so I've been doing this the wrong way for literally years. I've made probably close to a dozen blankets using a really bad method that just wasn't pretty, and it didn't look good. I literally just took my tail and I would go through the front and only the front stitch, and then I would go through the front stitch on the other side. I'm not even doing it right because I don't even know. I would go through the front stitch here, and then I would go through the front stitch here, and that's not accurate at all, because then you wind up with this really funky looking stitch on the front, and then you wind up with all of your back stitches just hanging out. I like this a lot more. It completely hides it, and I'm just happy with how this looks, and I feel really dumb. My mom was like, "Why were you doing it like that? I did not teach you that." To be fair, I taught myself a lot off of YouTube, so that's where that is. I ended up only learning how to crochet when I went off to college, and my mom taught me the basic granny square and how to do some basic stitches. But even then, I really had to, my mom and I don't always communicate the best when it comes to her teaching me things, so I had to pretty much teach myself how to do a lot of stuff through YouTube, because we don't have similar learning or teaching styles, so it just was more frustrating than anything to try to learn. I'd always wanted to learn how to crochet and how to knit, but we didn't have YouTube when I grew up, so, you know, crazy, dark, medieval times. Somehow people still figured out how to craft, but, you know, usually it's a thing that's passed down, so. Alright. Enough of that tangent. That's how you do the mattress stitch, and if you want to see more stuff like this, I do have other tutorials on how to do other different types of granny squares. I have linked them down below. Stay tuned for all my other stuff. I've got a lot of content coming out over the next couple weeks, so stay tuned. Alright, until next time, guys. Bye!